Save first, spend next. How is saving is important in our life to secure our future, to our children, unexpected emergencies, functions, marriages, education after some time, to buy a house after some time. We need savings. So, how to save? That is important. When you earn something, you always feel that everything is necessary, but nothing is necessary. You can reduce your expenditure provided you determine to save compulsory. Means you can reduce your expenditure by at least 10% in the beginning to 15, 20, 25% so that you can save the 25% for better future. So is it possible? Generally the question comes, is it possible? Why it is not possible? When you determine that you keep the saving first outside, out of your expenditure, then you go for expenditure. Then you be within your limits of allowed expenditure, within the limits of your income earned after savings. Savings should be first priority. It is not the expenditure priority. Savings should be the first priority. You have to start right from the day when you start earning. Maybe if you are earning 10,000, you can save 1,000 or 1,500. Or if you are earning 25,000, you go for start saving from 2,500 to you can go up to 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 also. But everything depends upon your determination to protect future or to enjoy for today. So if you enjoy for today, you are foregoing the future benefits or future comfortness. Comfortness came due to savings. Recently we have seen Chairman of Kotak Mahindra Bank. He suggested restrict your spending within your income earned, but not to overspend at the cost of future generations. Uday Kotak statement is, don't overspend at the cost of future generations' expense. So, whatever you are spending over your income will be burden on future. Maybe to yourself after some time or to your next generation. So, this is not advisable to anyone. First, you limit your expenditure within the income earned. Next, you start thinking of saving. Everything is possible to improve. First is you start saving. First you can reduce expenditure by 10%. Next month you can go up to 12%. After next month you can go up to 13%, or after that you can go up to 15%. Everything is possible if you determine. So that is most important. That step is required. Write down your expenditure, what you have spent today. You can know what you can postpone or you can avoid the expenditure, and how can you reduce the expenditure. Not at the cost of comfortness. You can avoid, you can postpone luxuries, overspending, but not comforts, which is required necessary for the life. So restrict your expenditure for necessities and comforts, and avoid or postpone for luxury spending. So that should be the first step, and then you can determine for savings. So that will ensure future comfortness to meet unforeseen events, functions, house purchase, children education, anything that can be useful for investment. All the savings can be converted as investments. Investment need not be in lakhs and crores of rupees. Even if you make a deposit of 10 rupees in a bank, that is investment. If you make a 1,000 rupees in a post office, that is also an investment. A pond, water pond, that pond becomes a river becomes ocean. In the same way, saving something, it will give lot of comfortness, happiness when you find that your savings are reached to some extent. The children's happiness when they see the balance in kiddie bank accounts. So in the same way, as far as expenditure is concerned, everyone should think of save first, spend next, and you can save compulsory. If you are determined, you can do that. If you are not determined, you cannot do that. Don't postpone saving. Saving should be done right from the beginning itself, and that is possible only with determination of not only yourself, your family, children, and everybody has to cooperate to save. Otherwise, if they are spendthrift, you may not be in a position to save, and that will create unnecessary problems and family disturbance also. You have to win the confidence of family members before going for saving at the cost of luxury or overspending. Of course, now the banks are giving, every bank is giving credit card facility to many people to meet their unforeseen expenditure, maybe in thousands. It going up to lakhs also. Every bank is giving credit card limits to borrowers, to their account holders. But that is not at all advisable, because credit card means you are purchasing your future generations' income. You are spending future generations' income. or your future income, mortgaging your future income. That is not advisable. Maybe that is advisable for Western countries because their future is secured by the government. But in India, Indians are not secured by government, and they have to look after their own security, their future, their education, their health, and everything. That has to be taken care of only by savings, not by borrowing. So that should be the concept, and that can be practically implemented by everyone, provided he is determined and his family also cooperates. Then question comes, how to start saving? So first step is required is to write down the budget, what you require in this month and what is the amount required for each head, maybe for food or education or maybe traveling or maybe any other thing. That is the total amount required, and what is your income other side. So if the gap is, income is more than your saving, whether budget expenditure, you can save. If the gap is not there, or if the gap is more, means your spending is more than your income, then you have to reduce your expenditure. Of course, if the income is same equal to expenditure, then also you can save expenditure by reducing some expenditures. Going for luxury, you can go for alternative comfort, not at the cost of comfortness. Comfort is the most important in life, and that should be maintained by making the savings. It is not necessary that one should enjoy the life luxuriously. You analyze the expenditure and you can see the alternative. You can go for cheapest alternative, not at the cost of comforts. And that will reduce expenditure, and that will add to, that will ensure, that will result into savings that can be used for investment for future. In the budget itself, we have to make first, keep aside savings, towards savings, maybe 10%, 15%, 20% or 25% according to your comfort. You at least minimum 20%, you keep aside. After that, the 90% or 80%, 75%, that can be used for spending. So that saving should be a priority. That is called save first and spend next. Saving should be the priority, and then the expenditure can be reduced or avoided or postponed, or we can say go for alternative cheapest expenditures. When you prepare the budget, and when it comes to practical life, many unforeseen expenditure may come forward, or unforeseen emergencies may come forward, maybe health or education or functions, traveling or something like that. That may be required to be compromised. Otherwise, if you don't compromise, if you go on spending, that will result into loss of savings or loss of investment or overspending their income, spending at the cost of future generations. So it is better spend within the limits of your income after savings. Is it possible? First time it may be difficult, next time it may be somewhat unhappiness, third time it may be lead to comfortness after some time. After getting some amount of savings, and that psychological happiness will ensure comfortness to everyone who went saving and got investments. Earlier we talked about preparing the budget. Then we have to go for what is the actual spending, what is the difference between that. Budget and actual means project report and progress report. So these should be analyzed, each and every expenditure, and if it can be reduced, that can be reduced based on the budget, or if it can be comfort is there, then we can go for more savings, or if it is that spending from necessity to comforts also. So that will reduce the gap between the budget prepared and actual expenditure. Of course, it may be possible, many people doesn't care, doesn't note down what the amount they are spending and for which they are spending, for which they have planned and for which they are spending. Individual saving requires individual discipline. Discipline only can save, and otherwise it will be very difficult to save and invest. So budget and actual expenditure should be compared, and if it is more than the budget expenditure, you try to think of reduce, or you can prepone or postpone, or you can go for alternative. And if the budget is more than your expenditure, actual expenditure, so that budget and actual expenditure has to be verified, and that has to be analyzed, each and every expenditure, each and time and benefit derived on spending of that expenditure. I stated earlier, whatever the amount spent, because you have noted down the actual amount spent and budget prepared, compare that and analyze the amount. If it is more than the budget, then you can adjust, go for alternative. It's the alternative to the expenditure, or you can go for reduce the expenditure for better future. So that analyzing the expenditure spent will always ensure support to savings. Otherwise, when you are trying to spend, everything seems to be necessity and compulsory. But when you want to save first, when some alternatives will come, some postponement can be done, the amount available for spending will make you to compel to go for lowest spending or alternative, which is cheapest one, but not at the cost of comforts. Last year, pandemic situation, lockdown period, and corona period had taught so many lessons to many people, so that they have to live with comforts, they have to live with necessities, postpone or avoid luxuries, and spend within the limits of income earned, and but not overspending. Overspending people are facing a lot of problem, and but those who are having saving, that can be used to meet the comforts and necessities in life during this pandemic situation. So that saved not only individuals but also companies, government, and everyone, that you have to save first for the better future, secured future, and happy future, and also for next generations. You should ensure investments to your next generation, but not installments to your next generation. So be prepared, be active, and be decisive to save first, then you go for spending. So that will be a concept that can be applied by everyone in their individual life, and also commercial organizations in their business, governments, and the administration. That way, that only will ensure secured future, strong economy, and perfect comfortness in life.